तुषाराद्रिसङ्काशगौरं कबीरं मनोभूतकोटि प्रभाश्रीशरीरं स्फुरन्मौलिकल्लोलिनी चारुगङ्गा लसत्फालबालेन्दुकण्ठे भुजङ्गा.
A warm welcome to all the devotees. On Raksha Sutra English, we are going to narrate wonderful holy stories to all the devotees from the book Miracles of Love by Ramdas Ji, an exclusive devotee of Maharaj Ji. Please listen carefully, all the devotees. Key to the mind. Stories showing Maharaj Ji's deep concern for his devotees and his protectiveness of them also suggest awesome powers of mind. It seemed as if he knew everything about his devotees, whether we were near to him or far away. It is little wonder that we could become fearless, knowing that he was literally watching over us. I was with Maharaj Ji during the time of the partition, and there were so many refugees from Pakistan that there was hardly a space to place a foot. Maharaj Ji and I were picking our way through the crowd, and one woman came and bowed before him and requested that he come and bless a newborn baby some distance from where we were. Maharaj Ji agreed. Further along, the same woman was complaining bitterly of the destruction of Lahore. Maharaj Ji immediately chastised her with a rhetorical question. Didn't that saint in Lahore tell you 6 months ago that this was going to happen? Sometimes when many people came to him, he would relate each person's personal history, including what their forefathers had done, as if he had been well acquainted with that person for a very long time. Since Maharaj Ji would sometimes not let us Westerners come to him until the afternoon, one morning a group of us went to visit the tiny ashram that at one time had been the residence of another great saint of that area, Sombari Maharaj. It was a good visit. En route back in the forenoon, we encountered a hill that the BW bus just couldn't climb with all of us in it, so we got out to push. That is, all of us except for the 2 young women in the party, who didn't bother to get out. We easily got the bus up the hill, but I was rankled by the fact that the young woman had not helped us. I was too well bred to say anything inside, though. I was angry and remained silent for the remainder of the drive to the temple. As we entered the temple, Maharaj Ji said, "Ramdas is angry," but I had hidden it well, and everyone disagreed with Maharaj Ji and said that on the contrary, I had been very pleasant. But Maharaj Ji was not to be deterred. "No," he said, "Ramdas is angry because the young woman wouldn't get out and help push." Ramdas. Once when Maharaj Ji was sitting in a room with no windows, he said, "Oh, so and so is coming just now." Within a few moments, this person entered the room. Maharaj Ji told me all sorts of things. He said, "You have been playing hockey with the mother." He was referring to the fact that I had been at Sri Aurobindo's ashram for a while and had played hockey with the mother. In the 1940s, a Muslim ICS, Indian Civil Service officer's son, who was studying in England, had had a heart attack and his mother had gone to see her son there. Maharajji was visiting the house of a devotee who never asked anything of Maharajji, but in this case he asked Maharajji about the boy, as they were family friends. Before he could put the question to Maharajji, Maharajji said, "What? He is asking about that boy who is studying in England. What do you want to ask? The mother has gone there. You have seen her off at the airport. As soon as she arrived, the son began to improve. Then Maharajji got up and said, 'Let's go.' This is how the mind travels." It was confirmed later that the boy did begin to improve once his mother arrived. Maharajji asked a man if he would ever before seen such a place as Kainchi, so beautiful and peaceful and ideal for meditation, with its mountains and river and forests. The Swami replied that he would once seen a similar place in Kandy, Sri Lanka. Maharajji, who had never been there, surprised the man by describing that place down to the smallest details. Our eldest daughter had appeared in some competitive examinations for employment in the government of India. After the exams, we went to see Maharajji in Vrindavan. As we were pranaming to him, Maharajji addressed her and said, "You have spoiled 5 of your exam papers." She said, "Yes." Maharajji said, "Don't worry. You will still come out successful and you will get your job." And she did. Our family is large but not rich, yet with his blessings we have been carrying on quite well. I got my job in the bank by his grace. After I had my job interview, I went to see him. He told me all the questions I was asked and said, "You will be selected." In fact, I had come out at the top of the list. Maharajji turned to me one day and said, "Do you still send money to that Banaras Pundit, religious scholar?" "Yes, Maharajji, I do," I replied. Maharajji had never met this Pandit, nor had I ever told Maharajji that I regularly sent money to him. This Pandit was a reciter of the Ramayana and he lived off donations from his listeners. Maharajji knew all things and he would look after people he would never met. A devotee who worked for the railroad brought a couple for the first time to see Maharajji. The wife was told by Maharajji in private, "You have been supporting a poor 10-year-old child. That is very fine of you to do." When she came out of the room, she was quite astounded because no one, not even her husband, knew that she was supporting the child. Before we eat, we offer our food to a picture of Maharajji. Once my wife forgot to put salt in the curry. I forgot, but Maharajji will forgive me. 15 days later, Maharajji came and my wife sat at his feet. The first thing he said to her was, "You gave me curry without salt." One of the young men from a family in Kanpur was in the military fighting in the China War. The report came that he had died, and the brother came to tell Maharajji. Maharajji said, "No, he has not died." No one believed Maharajji, and the widow married again in 6 months, and the file of the war department was closed. After some time, the man returned. In 1968, after I had been at the temple for some time, I had to go to Delhi. At that time, I was trying to be a very pure yogi. In Delhi, I did all my business with dispatch and then had time for a vegetarian lunch before returning to the mountains. At the end of the meal, I was served 2 biscuits with tea. I didn't think they were proper yogi food, but they were cream filled and I couldn't resist. But since I was barefoot and in my ulfi means sadhu clothing, and was being treated as a sadhu even in the restaurant, I ate the cookies surreptitiously. Upon my return to Maharajji, his first words were, "How did you like the biscuits?" Ramdas. Since I was one of the few Westerners who spoke Hindi, he would talk with me. Sometimes we would gossip and he would pull 1 or 2 dazzlers. He would mention somebody that I would never mention to anybody else and say, "What was the story with this person?" I would do a double take and he would laugh and giggle and then look at me and smile. Much of the time when I was sitting with Maharajji, I would find myself turning into a giggling idiot. I would roll around and sometimes virtually fall over, and he would give me a great big hug. Key to the Mind section stories is long, so further story will be narrated to all devotees in next episode. To listen the wonderful holy stories of Maharajji, please like, share, subscribe the channel